The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, team. Hope everyone is well. We're going to get things kicked off. A couple of people just left to join, but this is going to be recorded. So hopefully, if there is anything missed, anything misunderstood, then we can listen again, and obviously you can email. So I'm going to keep everybody on mute for now, just to make sure it's clear, and to make sure for the couple of people that are either away or on holiday can listen to this with the best clarity possible. If you do have a question or you can't hear me, then obviously you've got the question box in the right hand side of your screen, or just put your hand up, write a little message in the chat box, just let me know if I'm going too fast, too slow, you don't understand anything, or any other problems you may have. So first of all, for those of you that don't know, I know we've got a mix of profit guys and non-profit guys, so I'll give you a very brief outline. I'm Steve. I run Profit Personal Train along with Graham, and we've got 75 trainers working throughout the Northwest and Yorkshire. We've also got a physio team, and obviously main reason for today is we also run workplace wellness project, and we've been lucky enough to work with some of the biggest companies in the UK over the past 3 years, looking at improving productivity and engagement, which is why we've managed to get a deal with DWF, which is a nationwide law firm. Hence some of you guys are on today, because we haven't got our profit guys in some of the areas where they have offices. A lot of what we're going to go through now, it may seem like, oh, I've done it loads before, or you know exactly what you're doing, and I'm sure you do. Some of you have been in the industry a long time. The main focus for us is to make sure that everybody's just doing the same thing. Make sure the service level is the same in Glasgow as it is in Edinburgh, as it is in London, as it is in Manchester. So we need to just make sure there's uniform service across the board, and then hopefully the good feedback that we get will allow us more opportunities over the next 12-24 months with this huge company, which again will hopefully give you guys some opportunities as well. So first thing we will go through is what you may need, or what you will need, and as you are all great trainers, I'm assuming you will all have these. Just let me know if not, and we'll come up with a solution, but it's fairly simple. So you'll need accurate digital scales, a blood pressure monitor, a tape measure, a good tape measure, not a crappy one that's been at the bottom of your bag for a while, decent tape measure. You will get printed sheets. I will send you in the post some sheets that to avoid everybody doing lots of printing. Note paper, obviously, pen to make some notes, calculator, just to work out one of the measures, which will be hip to waist ratio, and laptop if you need it, or I've got it. That's it in terms of what you need. Also in terms of what you wear, so we're all going in with the hat of Workplace Wellness Project. That's who you are representing, that's who we are as a team going into DWF. So it's for the guys, trousers and shirt, so a little bit more smarter than our usual trackies that we wear probably, and same for the girls. So smart clothes to make sure that we're all, again, same service level, professional looking image. So no trainers, no tracksuits. Not that we don't look professional in that, but in this environment we want to go a little bit more corporate and make sure there's no branding anywhere, and we're all representing the same team. So that's it from a what you need point of view. Each of the slots, and we're going to go through it in detail in a sec, each of the slots are 20 minutes. Ideally it'll be like a conveyor belt, so you'll do one person 20 minutes, next person comes in 20 minutes and carries on through that. Approximately 9 to 5 if it's a full day. If I know some of you are doing half day, so if it's half day it'll be 9 till 1 if it's a morning, 1 till 5 if it's an afternoon. And for the full days there's a half an hour break in the middle to grab some food or whatever. So the questionnaire which I'll go through in a sec, the client is going to bring to the session. So we'll go through how the session needs to pan out over the 20 minutes. And the first thing I will do is I'll just realize I'm not sharing my screen. You should now all be able to see that, hopefully. And when somebody comes in, this is just to give you guys a little bit of information. So if someone asks about Workplace Wellness Project, about what we do, this is our kind of About Us page. It's something that might go on the website, the About Us section. I'll send you this, but it's a good idea to just have a read through. You don't need to know it verbatim, you don't need to know it word for word, you just need to have an understanding of where the aims are coming from, so you can articulate in that manner for a couple of minutes at the start of the session if needed. So client comes in, or health check victim comes in. Obviously we want to, the first thing, and I know I'm probably teaching a lot of you to suck eggs, but again, I just make sure everyone's doing the same. Sit them down. The first thing is we want to build rapport. It's a small introduction to yourself and the Workplace Wellness Project if needed. You want to ask how they are. You want to get them to feel relaxed. Some of them, as we all know, might be feeling a little bit insecure, maybe a bit of intrepidation about coming in to see you. So smile, be friendly, give them a brief explanation of what's going to happen in that next 20 minutes. So do it in your own words, but it's something like, so we're going to look at your questionnaire scores, we're going to have a look at your posture, and we're going to do some non-invasive health markers. It's entirely confidential, and it's designed to help improve any aspects of your health that you want. I'm then going to send you a mini report with some action points and ideas to improve any areas we feel you would benefit from. Bang, that's it. That's all we're going to say. So hopefully that will just ease their mind a little bit. You've explained what's going on for the next 20 minutes and why you're there, and a little bit about yourself. You've smiled, you've looked pretty, especially the boys, and everyone's nice and relaxed. So their next point is going through their questionnaire. So go through their questionnaire, and I will just switch to the questionnaire. Right, here we go. So this is what they will get prior to coming in to see you, hopefully. They will get emailed this via head office, and they'll all be instructed to fill this in and bring it to the session with their scores, obviously. So you're going to go through this, and the main points are just picking out any big rocks or red flags that you may see, or patterns of behavior that you may see in this. So, for example, their overall score is up here, and it's obvious, it's high priority, it's in the 90s, obvious that they're doing a lot of things that aren't going to benefit them from a productivity, health and wellness point of view. So you would just comment on that without completely nailing them and saying you are high priority, you are a disaster zone. You might want to ask a couple of questions about it. If someone's stress levels are 9 out of 10 on that scale there at the bottom, you might just want to follow that up and dig a little bit more for some information. I see your stress score is 9 out of 10. What would you say the main reason for that is? And just let them speak. Let them tell you, let them you empathize with them, and just tell them you're going to give them a couple of things that will help them, which is going to have a positive knock-on effect to other parts of their life, and make a couple of notes on what they say. Do not give all the answers and advice at this point. As fitness professionals, and I've been doing this 12 years, I know that fitness professionals want to give and give and give and give all the answers and help and help and help. And it doesn't work in this environment. One, because we overwhelm them, and two, we've only got 20 minutes to go through this. So we want to get through it as succinctly as possible, dig a little bit for some information, pick out some big rocks, and then just tell them we're going to use this and we're going to give them some information later that's going to have a positive effect on their life. All we're doing is understanding them, letting them speak, And remember also on this, although the questionnaire is weighted around nutrition, this is health, wellness, productivity. It's not just weight loss. So unless they mention weight loss, and unless the conversation comes up and that, we don't bang on about weight loss or fat loss, which again I know is a temptation to do sometimes, but we need to just make sure it's from a health and wellness point of view, and we're there to provide a service, not necessarily all the answers at this point. Then ask them the question, which areas would you like to improve? Obviously let them speak, listen to what they say, and make notes of their answers, and whatever their answers are there that you have to make notes on will go in the follow-up report and shows that you've listened to what they've said and you've given them a couple of things that will benefit from them. So that's the questionnaire. Shouldn't take too long. It should be a nice flowing conversation. It's about getting them relaxed. It's about picking out some major patterns of behavior that you can make some notes on and give them some actions later on that they can start doing over a period of time that will make big differences to their scores. So hopefully they're a lot more relaxed now. If you spent a good few minutes going through that, you then go on to the actual health checks. So this is the actual measurement side of things. So just before I do go on that, just pop your hand, put a question to the side, pop your hand up on the right hand side of your screen if you've got any questions about that. Hopefully that's all fairly clear. If you do get this or you're listening to the recording, just make sure you drop me an email if there's any questions that you've got, but hopefully it should all make sense. So yeah, this is the actual measurement side of it. So again, you'll have all done this. Fairly standard. So we want weight, blood pressure. The blood pressure cuff should automatically give you a resting heart rate. Pop the questionnaire score in that you've just gone through there. The hip measurement. So just to make sure we're all doing the hip measurement exactly the same, this is over the fattest part of their ass. So over greater trochanter, all the way around to the biggest part around that particular area. Make sure the tape measure straight. Make sure we do this really accurately so everyone's got kind of validity and reliability of the results. Then the waist. So this is, in this particular case, this is going to be the narrowest part of their abdomen between xiphoid process and umbilicus. So it has to be the narrowest part between that area, and that's what we would call the waist. Then we're going to measure the abdominal, which is bang on the belly button, umbilicus, all the way around again, straight tape measure. Don't be afraid to measure it 2 or 3 times to make sure we've got an accurate result. And then we're going to work out hip to waist ratio. So you divide waist by the hip and it gives you a point something, or if it's bad it's obviously 1 point something. I'm assuming you've got some knowledge of hip to waist ratio. If not, it's fairly easy to just read up a little bit about it. We're not again going to go on massively into it at this point. We're just taking the measurements. In the report we'll write a little bit about hip to waist ratio. So that's the mini health checks. In terms of the measurement side of it, don't be afraid to take the blood pressure 2 or 3 times to make sure you've got an accurate reading. I would definitely recommend you do that. And same with the measurements if you feel it's needed. The big thing we need to concern ourselves on this is make sure you get name and email address. This is where the report is going. So if we don't get this, we're screwed. So make sure every single person, we get their email address, otherwise we can't give them any of the reports. Okay, so that should be fairly clear. Obviously you've got a section for notes if they do bring anything up, if they tell you about any health issues, any blood pressure issues, any medication they might be on, it might go down there. Any questions on that health check side of things? It should be fairly simple. Just making sure accuracy, validity and reliability of results is there. And obviously when you're doing your measurements, make sure there's not like phones in pockets and massive belts that are going to skew the results a little bit. I know that's obvious, massive jackets, jumpers, all that kind of stuff. Once you've completed that section, we then move up to the mini posture and movement MOT. So this is get your client or your health checkee to stand up. You want to look at them from the side, from the front, and from behind. And you want to use this sheet. This is one of the sheets that you will get sent to you. So you will have this hard copy. And I'll get all your addresses in a couple of days. But you want to check major red flags again. So depending on different people's knowledge levels on postural movement and functional movement, what courses we've done, what education we've had in it, again, we don't want to go into too much detail if we are experts in this area. We're looking for major things. So we're looking for, in standing, head tilts, any shoulders, and we just tick the relevant side. If their hips are all over the place, you would tick anything there. If there's a massive postural sway left to right, i.e. the standing leaning over to one side, you would tick that and just highlight the major flags there. This picture on the left is the plumb line for kind of ideal posture, and you want to talk to them about themselves. Now, depending on how your timing's gone up to this point, it's quite a good idea to take a picture of them, obviously ask permission, to take a picture of them front, side and back, because when you're going through posture, you can just show them the picture of themselves, you can put your imaginary line in, and you can talk about the effects of forward head posture, for example, on back pain and neck pain. You can talk about the hip posture in relation to the shoulders or whatever, and talk about lower back. Again, we don't want to scare them. We don't want to tell them that they are completely a mess, but we want to talk about posture and how important it is for their productivity and for their health. And it's written on there as well to give you an impression of how to talk about posture, but also to let them know that there is posture affects many different parts of them. So again, red flags, letting them go for it. If they talk about, oh yeah, I've had back pain, blah blah, I do get neck pain, because these guys are pretty much sat down most of the day, so they're bound to have some aches and pains and postural imbalance, and we've got to just talk about the long-term effects of that. And again, the main point is talk about long-term effects, talk about postural dysfunction, how it leads to altered movement patterns, can lead to stress and injury. The great thing is, though, we're going to send you some quick postural exercise and some information that can have a huge difference on this. So you always want to tell them what we're going to do for them, as opposed to tell them how knackered they are. Any questions on the posture and movement side of things? Just pop them there. Will we get there? Yeah, so as I said before, this question there, how do we get these sheets? So what I'm going to do is I will print out this sheet and this sheet and send it to your address, so you can take these sheets into the postural check. When you do the postural checks into the offices, so you've got those to write on and go through with people, so you guys aren't doing the printing. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, cool. So that's the health check kind of done. Once we're at that point, then, and that has to take 20 minutes. It's worth practicing one. If you've never done anything like this, or some of them, it's worth practicing one on a friend, colleague, client, mom, dad, whoever, before you go in, and make sure you nail the 20 minutes, because we haven't really got much leeway on the time side of things. Obviously, there's an element of DWF being efficient with that and making sure people are ready, but that's out of our control. We want to make sure that we do what we say we're going to do and deliver on that 20 minutes, not 30 minutes, not 25, not 10. It's 20-minute health check, and that's what they're getting. So once we've done that, we then have here the one-page action points, or one-page report based on the mini health checks that you've found. Now again, this is a template that you will get, and the point about this is all you need to do is obviously insert the name, insert your name of workplace wellness, and then you just change the relevant points based upon what you found in the 20 minutes. So these obviously will all go in. I know we've got body fat there. We're not doing that this time. This is just a template. The one I send you will have the relevant boxes in, and hip to waist ratio will be here as well. This is relevant to the person you've done, so you just pop those scores in. All this down here is templated for you to add in any bits of information that you feel are relevant from that conversation you had. So let's get rid of all those. So nutrition, most people would benefit from this side of things, but if you've had a conversation with them and you know this is miles away from where they're going, you might just want to add or take away a couple of bullet points. So you might find that was quite a big one for them, so they're an emotional eater, so you might want to put that at the top and just say a couple of strategies for overcoming that. Or you can leave this as it is and just add a couple of more at the bottom. Same with the stress. If they're not moving, get moving. If they are moving and they're exercising regularly, you need to delete get moving, because they're already doing it. We tell them to do something they're already doing. Again, sleep. If we're aiming to get to sleep before 11 p.m, if they're going to bed at 1 p.m, you might just want to clarify that by saying start by going 15 minutes earlier each night. So just trusting you really it's common sense, and I know you'll all do a great job with that, of adding and replacing bits. This doesn't need to take a lot of time. I don't want you to spend ages on this. I just want you to add in a couple of relevant bits from the notes that you've taken. And this is the main bit you're probably going to change here. You stated your main area of concern is not about body shape. So this person has told me that she's not massively concerned about body shape, but she just needs to improve her sleep and her stress. Okay, that's her main area of concern at the moment, so that's what we go with. And that's what we talk about, and we give her some areas of focus. So as we mentioned, so always revert back to the conversation we had, so they feel like they're not just getting, so we don't want everyone in the office to get exactly the same report. It needs to be relevant to that particular person. So in this particular case, we talked about the fact that this lady was the HR manager, and she actually was getting more stressed out than the rest of her staff. And we talked about you don't have a HR manager, it's imperative you take some of your own advice and look after your mind and body. Because we'd had a chat about her looking after everybody else and not necessarily taking the time to look after herself. And she wanted to get into training, and we talked about the different types of training that she would love to do. So that's hopefully fairly straightforward. Don't want to stray too far from the beaten track, but I'm sure you're all capable of adding in some extra things, taking away the non-relevant things, and making the client feel like this is their particular score. So obviously if they've got a hip to waist ratio that is well over the kind of health parameter, so if it's 1 point something from man, then we need to say that the hip to waist ratio is this. We need to comment on everybody's hip to waist ratio here. So any questions on that? Yeah. So again, this is a different one, so I'll make sure that the table here is the same table as you've done in your particular health check. This company obviously wanted the body fats doing as a main source of what they were looking at, because they were looking, this was from a weight loss point of view really, as well as health and productivity. But yes, this will be specific to what DWF want. And yes, I will send this by email to you all, obviously an editable version, so you can use it. and then obviously once you've done it, you will email it to the people that you've seen. Question, when do you need to do this by? So yeah, good question. So ideally as soon as possible. Now I'm not expecting you to do this all day and then write your reports up on the same night, but if the closer the clients can get this report to their health check with you, the more impact it will have, the more professional we'll look, and the greater service that we're delivering. So really, they need to be receiving this email within a day or two of seeing you, if that's possible. If anyone's got any questions or issues or anything to do with that side of things, then pop the question now or email me at a later date. But yeah, we need to be red hot on that as much as possible. So that's pretty much it. Trying to think. Main thing is not getting into massive conversations so we don't go over the 20 minutes. Make notes all the way through, pick up on things that they say, individualize that report, and obviously get their name and address, email address. Clothes have gone through, make sure we're smart, trousers and shirt, or trouser suit or skirt and blouse, whatever. You're representing Workplace Wellness Project. I will get your addresses over the next day or two, so I can actually send the printed pages that you can go in with, and I will email you the rest. I'll email you the information. One thing I didn't go through actually, which I'll send to you, I went through the About Us. These are just some of the other services that we offer, so if people do ask, and just so you've got an idea about what we do as well, these are all the services that we can offer within the Workplace Wellness Project. And again, hopefully, if these go well, which we're doing with DWF, it will lead to educational workshop, it will lead to stress management things, it will lead to massage, and again, we will need help from our partners, which you guys are now, hopefully, to deliver on a UK and Ireland scale. So I'll send you that for a read. You got an idea of where we're at. And also, this is something, just, I'm sure some of you know some of this, some of you are familiar with it, some of you maybe not so much, but this is just to give you an idea of reasons why workplace wellness is important, why we need to do something about this country's employment and productivity and engagement levels. It's the lowest ever. Just some reasons for that. Talking about a little bit more about how the strategy can help and different things that have come about in research. And then some testimonials, hopefully to give you confidence in us as well, that, you know, we've been doing this for a good while now and making some serious benefits to big companies. So we've worked with Red Bull. We continue to work with Red Bull on a national scale, which is fun because they're all crazy. HR, the NHS, just HR, Pinsent Masons, another big law firm, Co-op, Lloyd's, Reeds Rains, which again was UK-wide. So have a read of those. Hopefully people saying good things about us. So I'll send you all that. And unless anyone has any extra questions, I think that's about it. The one thing which I think I've spoke to most of you about, but I'll mention in this because it is a recording, it's going to a couple of people that couldn't make it, is anyone that gave me dates for the first week of March, and today's Saturday the 1st, so the first week of March, obviously Monday the 3rd, for that week, anyone that gave me dates for that, we are not doing health checks within that week now. DWF have decided that they can't accommodate that week. So anyone that gave me a date for that week, we are not doing it. And if you've not already, you need to give me another date in March where we can swap that for. I'm pretty sure I've got most of you nailed with that, but as a reminder, it's there in case anyone hasn't managed to sort that out diary-wise yet. Nothing we could do about that, but from now on, the dates should be set in stone and no one has to move the diaries, and even if they don't work, I'm going to try and make sure that you still get paid for that, because I know you've moved your diaries around and I know you've got busy schedules. So hopefully that eases the pain of this week a little bit. It's great to have a load of new faces. Can't see anyone, but a load of new faces on board as part of the team. Hopefully, if we all smash this and over the whole of the UK, this is big stuff for everyone, and we can get involved in doing loads more things like this. Obviously, if you guys are interested in and we think you've done really well, then there'll be plenty of opportunities moving forward, because as I've said before, we're getting more and more corporate clients that are UK and Ireland based, and we need people that we can rely on in those areas. So we will be in touch about any more opportunities. I'll probably be in touch over the next week or so, either by phone, text or email, to make sure everyone's cool. Other than that, I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.